and more people started attending our jam sessions, more diverse artists started to attend. And it was not a Bengali only thing, because people from different parts of the world were musicians, journalists, artists, filmmakers, visual artists, performing artists. Everybody started to come together, and we just built a community.
Hey Ifti, how are you? How's everything at your end?
Good. I'm in Paris right now. It's good. I love Paris.
That's nice. Nice to hear that. I mean, we did meet a few weeks ago, and then you're traveling across during the summer. That's nice to hear. Thank you so much for finding the time to do this episode with me. And if you could tell our viewers about yourself and about Royal Bengal Teahouse, that would be great.
Sure. So myself, I'm an event organizer, musician, producer, and based out of New York City. I love to travel, and wherever I go, I'm actually looking for artists in Paris. So if anybody's around, hit me up. So Royal Bengal Teahouse is our organization. It's an artists collective. We started back in 2014. We started very casually, and then now it has become like a full-on organization, a company. We organize cultural events, charity concerts every 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm. So why did you start this in the beginning? When did this idea actually come up for you?
It started very organically. I had just moved from Washington, D.C. to New York. I didn't really know anybody. I was staying in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And I attended a vigil in Washington Square Park for a bombing that happened in Pakistan in 2014. And I was like, let me just go show my support. And as I was just holding a candle at the vigil, this journalist, Iranian journalist, reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And we became friends. And turns out her husband had lived in Bangladesh, and all three of us, we became good friends. And we started hanging out in my apartment in Brooklyn. And because I didn't have any friends, they started bringing their friends and started hanging out in my apartment. We would just jam out and drink tea, and that's kind of how it started. It then became like a monthly thing. We will all huddle together very organically. And one thing that we really were very passionate about was social justice and solidarity. We would look for opportunities to raise money for any event, any kind of catastrophe that happened, or any community that was suffering. We kind of pulled our information and our network together, and that's how kind of like community became more, started taking shape, and then the Royal Bengal Teahouse was born.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, how has it evolved over the years? You started off with a small community, right? And now, as of recently, you just had one of the biggest jam sessions, right? That happened in July. So, tell us about that.
Yeah, 15th of July. It was the biggest jam session we have ever hosted. It started very organically back in 2014, but as more and more people started attending our jam sessions, more diverse artists started to attend. And it was not a Bengali only thing, because like I said, some of the founding members were Iranian, and more people from different parts of the world were musicians, journalists, artists, filmmakers, visual artists, performing artists. Everybody started to come together, and we just built a community. And as more and more people started to attend these jam sessions, we incorporated things like certain ethnic cuisine. One of our friends who was a chef, he would just cook for everybody. And then just because we wanted to sustain this, we started charging people tickets at the door. And more and more people started to buy tickets, and we started to grow. We started to get sponsors who were willing to hey, we'll pay for your venue, or we'll pay for your sound system. And now it has become like a full-fledged event management company, I would say, not just a artist collective.
Mm-hmm. So, I just wanted to ask you, like, what are the kind of challenges that you have faced along the way? I mean, from starting off from a small community to now managing a bigger community with more artists and more diversity and more, things to manage while you're organizing an event. What are the kind of challenges that you faced along the way?
Some of the challenges we were facing at the beginning was, people would get drunk and get rowdy. That's kind of when we realized that, okay, we need more security. We need more structure to ensure that whoever's attending our event is comfortable and feels secure. That's kind of when organizational structure started to take form. Other challenges we have had was like, we would host outdoor concerts and then it would start to rain and we had to like kind of scramble
Logistical issues. Yeah.
things like that. But we got smarter along the way. Every event that we host, we learn something new because we deal with such a diverse group of artists and attendees. And New York City is so diverse and unpredictable in its own way, which could be a good thing because the unpredictability feeds into our jam sessions, which is improvised world music surrounding Bengali folk music. And I can tell you more about that. I think that's one of the highlights of our event is our jam session, and that's why people love it so much.
Yeah, tell me more about it.
So, the core musicians who attend, who organize the jam sessions are all Bengali, and we focus our events. Every event that we organize, we focus it around a theme, and we kind of choose certain songs. Either it's a spiritual theme or it's a holiday. We choose our theme based on that concept, and we kind of curate our event around that concept. So, as towards the end of the night, we allocate about 60 to 90 minutes for just free form jam session. What that means is we start with some Bengali folk songs, high energy Bengali folk songs, and let world musicians like maybe a wood player or a sitar player or somebody who's a flutist or a saxophone player to just come improvise and feed on that unpredictability, the energy of improvised music, and just go with the flow. And then usually what happens is the audience starts to join in. If they know the lyrics, they sing along with us, they dance with us, and it's just a beautiful melange of world music and singing and dancing.
Mm-hmm. How easy or tough is it to actually collaborate with different artists from different nationalities and backgrounds? I mean, especially when you improvise it, how do you think that kind of works out? Because it doesn't always go the way you expect it to be.
Not at all. Absolutely. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it because it's so unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. And that's what makes it so unique. Every single jam session is unique. We have been having jam sessions since 2014, and I would say every single jam session had its own kind of audience, own kind of energy and vibe, and that's what makes it so unique. Every single event is unique, and it's a treat for the audience.
Mm-hmm. So, what is actually coming up for Royal Bengal Teahouse at present? Like, what are you planning?
We're looking for opportunities to collaborate. One of the foundational values or foundational pillars of Royal Bengal Teahouse is to build bridges. Not only build bridges between artists, but also build bridges between communities. We are collaborating with different sister organizations to make sure that we continue to support each other and to grow. So going forward, we will be hosting bigger events, more unique events as we partner up with other organizations.
Speaking of partnerships, you recently partnered up with Adok Canteen, right, in Banani. So tell me about that. How did that actually work out for you?
So Adok Canteen is ran by one of my close friends, Nabil Shahidi, who was a brilliant architect. We became friends in New York City after he finished his master's at Columbia University. And we kept in touch. He moved back to Bangladesh and he started this cafe. And I visited the cafe, and we saw opportunity to host jam sessions in Bangladesh, but we haven't really figured out the logistics of how we're gonna get musicians from New York or other parts of the world to come to Dhaka and actually have a jam session. So we don't immediately have any plans, but we're thinking about it.
So moving on, let's talk about you. You actually travel quite frequently, and you do also collaborate with artists as you go to other cities and countries, right? How has that experience been for you?
Goes back to building bridges, right? When I love to travel. I love traveling. I love experiencing new places, things. Right now, I'm in Paris. I'm trying to find artists who can relate to our message of taking music and giving it away, doing charity concerts or collaborating or and building bridges between communities. This is my first time in Paris. I was in Mexico earlier this year, and I met tons of brilliant musicians in Mexico, and we are in touch. And if there's an opportunity for us to collaborate or host an event in Mexico, we're gonna do that. And now that I'm in Paris, I'm looking for artists to collaborate with. If there's an opportunity for us to have a jam session in Paris, maybe next year, that could happen too.
Mm-hmm. Great. So I wanted to know more about building communities, right? Because we know for a fact that New York is the hub of diversity and building communities, right? So how has that, over the years, because you've been there for a while now, how has that changed in New York City? Do you think it has become more and more diverse, or how has it been, especially during the pandemic? How did it work out? People collaborating and staying together as a community.
I think the pandemic was a challenge, definitely a challenge. But despite the challenge, we managed to have a few charity concerts during the pandemic, online over Zoom. However, the energy is not the same. But one good thing that happened was that more and more artists from different parts of the world were able to join our jam sessions online. We had famous artists from Paris, Pawan Baul, actually join one of our online jam sessions, and we were able to raise some money and give it to a community in the Bronx. This was a charity concert that we organized during the pandemic. So I think before the pandemic, we were a smaller organization. We're not so organized. We didn't have much structure. But after the pandemic, we were able to build a small team and take a more professional approach towards events management and make sure that we stay true to our original values, but do it at a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I've been to one of your jam sessions in 2021, and I remember, witnessing the kind of diversity that there was actually. And I wanted to ask you, when you're picking up on a cause or you want to, basically do a charity event, how do you kind of plan it out? Because there's so many causes to contribute to. Is there something that you focus on, or is there something that you kind of see at present and then you go with the flow?
So we're an artist-owned company. All the members of our team who are very much involved with the company, they're usually the ones who decide. We collectively decide which charity or which cause we should organize a concert for. During the pandemic, some of our friends who, obviously there was a crisis. There were communities in New York City who were suffering. They didn't have access to food. They were cut off from their resources. So we volunteered. It was suggested by community members from our organization who suggested that, okay, there's nonprofit organizations that's trying to do this. They're trying to provide food to Bengali families in the Bronx. How about we do a jam session and raise money for them?
That's great. I mean, that's you're doing it for a cause, and also you're doing it for the passion for music and, artists, gathering together in one platform. So when working towards this kind of a cause, what are the kind of things that you want people to note down? Because we know that the pandemic was a huge calling for all of us to kind of build a community of our own. So what are your thoughts on this? Where do you think are us as a society are heading towards right now, especially post-pandemic, because a lot of things have changed, right?
Right. A lot of things have changed. And I think going forward, we want to be able to replicate our model and have other people from other communities from different parts of the world have similar events. We're happy to teach what we have learned. And we truly believe in passing on the baton, right? We have this collective information, this knowledge of how to run an organization, how to organize events, how to do damage control, how to do sound system. We have gathered all this information just by trial and error over the years, and we would be happy to pass on this information to other communities or organizations around the world who would like to collaborate or use our model to do similar events to support their communities, to raise funds for charity, for example. So going forward, as we mature or continue to mature as an organization, we're always looking for opportunities to collaborate and also evolve, right? We also would love to try out different kinds of events. For example, back in 2019, I had an opportunity to go to Birmingham, UK, and be the musician for an event where it was hosted at the Birmingham Museum, where 200 people were served an international dinner, while a graffiti artist did live graffiti and I performed music. And to be able to do kind of like events that caters to all your senses and it's an entertainment experience, I would love to do more events like that. And
Was
I think
it a supper club that you went to? Because I think in the UK they do a lot of like supper clubs or so.
it was not really a supper club. It was based on a theme. The theme was Bangladeshi immigrants in Birmingham. That was a theme.
Nice. And I wanted to know, like, so if people do not know about Ifti, I want to let you know that he sings pretty well as well. And he has been performing. I wanted to know, how many instruments do you know how to play at present? Because I've seen you play flute, I guess. What instruments do you play?
I can play the Bangladeshi flute, the Bengali flute, which is North Indian flute. But I didn't really have any training on that. I sing. I love singing. I play a little bit of the piano.
Okay. So you learned it by yourself, or like you took classes and stuff like that?
I took classes here and there.
Oh, okay. That's nice. So what is in store for you right now? Like, where do you see your musical journey heading towards now? Because you have been traveling quite a bit, and I know that you've been talking about your musical background as well, that you want to kind of work on as well.
One thing I truly enjoy is poetry, writing songs. And I think what I would really like to do is record some of the songs that I have written over the years.
For 8 years?
I would say, probably 8 or 9 years. I have written quite a lot of songs actually, and I'm kind of in the process of selecting what I should put on an album.
Nice. That's nice. So if you had to give a huge shout out to some of the top artists in New York, I know some of them because some of them came on my show as well. Who would they be for now? Who's like leading Royal Bengal Teahouse as well?
Some of the artists that I have worked with at Royal Bengal Teahouse are extremely talented and they're so passionate about what they do. One of them is my friend Sumar Fejat. He's a Syrian player and a vocalist, and if you haven't heard him live, then you're missing out. He's an amazing artist. Also, Shanjoy Kormukar, he's a tabla player. He's a very talented tabla player. Other artists come to mind are Ahnav Islam is our guitarist. We have so many other musicians like Tia Kareem, who's a dancer, and she recently joined our team, and she is very passionate about what our goals are as an organization, and she's bringing a new twist and new color to the events that we're doing with her dancing. and stage decoration. We have a few photographers who are also helping us with our event. So all in all, we have a beautiful community of artists, not just musicians, who make our events so special.
Great. That is so nice to hear. I mean, rarely do we see, we always hear about people building communities, but then I feel like there's like no purpose usually, because people just want to connect with other South Asian or other nationality people over time, but they do not have a cause or like a similar interest that kind of connects them. And I feel like Royal Bengal Tea House is exactly doing that. Like, you're working for a cause and you're getting all the artists in one place to, meet and to jam together. So that's really nice. Thank you so much for telling us about it.
Thank you. No, it's thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our story. We're a small organization, and I think more and more people who hear about us would be interested in what we're trying to do and support our cause.
Definitely. And I want to tell everybody who's located in New York that in case you are based in New York right now and you do come up with their jam sessions, do go for it, because I went for one and it was really nice. It was really nice because if you like music and you want to meet people with similar interests, I think Royal Bengal Tea House jam sessions are the ones. So on that note, we do come to the end of the episode. Do you have any thoughts that you want to share at the end?
Keep on singing, keep on dancing.
Cool. Okay. So on that note, we do come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And thank you, viewers, for watching this episode today. If you have any feedback or suggestions to make, please let me know at tasneemhassan.media@gmail.com. This is it from me, Tasneem Hassan, signing off.